All right, joining me now is Ernesto Tito Mercado coming off the biggest win of his pro career, knockout win over former two-division world champion Jose Pedraza. That was this past Saturday in Las Vegas. And let's start here, Tito. Give me kind of a letter grade for your performance. How would you rate how you performed against Pedraza?
I felt like I did like A minus, man. A minus. I felt like there was still adjustments that had to be made. But overall, I think we did great on wearing the veteran down, not letting him get his rhythm going, and landing certain shots and letting him get his just little irky jerky movements he likes to do to most guys, and I think we did good offsetting him on his tempo.
What I was shocked by looking at the final numbers, he only landed 9 punches on you. Like
Yeah.
that's got to be. I mean, win a decent amount of rounds. Like, I mean, when you saw those numbers, what did you think?
I thought it was good, man, but I thought we could have definitely reduced those numbers to maybe two or three. There's certain things, like just putting my hands up or just moving back a little bit on certain situations. But definitely I can't complain with nine shots out of 4 rounds.
Yeah, 9 shots in 4 rounds. That's a pretty good defensive effort. I would say. You know that this was the most experienced opponent that you've been in up until this point. We all know what Pedraza's history was. When you got in the ring with those first couple of rounds, like how long did it take you to kind of figure out what you were going to do in there?
Right away, man, because we watched a lot of tape on him, so I kind of already knew what he was gonna try to do. We also had a backup plan of if he started to run, we've seen the Jose Ramirez fight, who I would say is a decent puncher. He moves around on him, so there were just different scenarios that as soon as we saw him off the gate, whether he wanted to run or come forward and attack me, we kind of already had a plan for it, and he came forward like we thought he would. There was a lot of trash talk. I figured that he would, get a little antsy and try to come forward, and he did, man, but just didn't have an answer for me.
Yeah, his history, at least at 140, is he comes forward early, and then when he feels the power of bigger opponents like a you or even a Keyshawn before that, he starts to get a little off the back foot. But you caught him even before he could start backtracking him. He walked in. I mean, that finishing combination, what were you looking for there? Because it was a big left that seemed to start it and maybe a right at to finish it.
Yeah, no, I noticed a lot of times he leans in or he reaches too much with his straight punches. He kind of throws his whole body in. So we're definitely in camp, man, working on counter punching a lot. And obviously, man, it paid off. I was just waiting for him to, the third, fourth round, I was letting him get a little bit more comfortable, let him get a little closer to me, not moving so much so he could think he has a shot, and then take a little proper step back enough to counter him. And that's exactly what happened, man.
Do you learn anything being in with a guy that has that kind of experience? Obviously, you dealt with him very quickly, efficiently, limited his offensive output. But do you gain anything from having shared the ring with a guy with that kind of experience?
Of course, man, just to see how, he give prompts to other guys and for me to be able to, take him out there pretty easily and like you said, pretty much untouched almost. And just to see how effective my work is, man, when we do in the gym, working the body and seeing how it takes a toll on these guys, it definitely is definitely a learning experience and just shows what I could do. And I think that's the most important thing, especially, putting this for the next upcoming fights.
I was saying before the broadcast and on the air a little bit too, like it just felt like all week long you had a lot of kind of pent up energy. Maybe it was from the cancellation of that November fight. I know you were eager to make your matchroom debut on that Philly card, had to wait a couple of months, but it just felt like to me from afar that you were just amped up for this fight. Maybe more so than I've seen you amped up for other fights. Would that be any kind of fair assessment?
Yeah, man, and then I just feel like my time is I'm due already. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I haven't got my due, and I haven't got. I feel like I'm very underrated, and I think it's just time for me to go out there and speak my opinion and just voice out exactly how I feel. A lot of these guys don't like how what I'm saying, but it's just exactly how I feel, man. And I think that what better time than to talk my stuff and back it up in the ring, and I did exactly that.
Oh, we knew you were going to talk afterwards. How it works with us is like when a fight ends on the undercard, they'll get in my ear and ask me like, "Do we want to do a post fight interview?" When your fight ended, I go, "Yeah, we're getting in there. We're doing this post fight
Yeah.
interview." And sure enough, you had a few things to say, and you were obviously keenly aware that Shakur Stevenson was sitting ringside. He was something you were jawing with even during the week, talking about Shakur, Keyshawn Davis, who's fighting for a title at 140. Have you been with Shakur especially, who's right now at 135? But like, how long have you kind of been looking at that as the big fight for you?
Man, ever since they've been saying he's the next guy up, a lot of people get mad that I'm calling out a guy that's in the 135-pound division. You know, him and Keyshawn. But I had a thing with Keyshawn. For the Olympic trials, I never got in the ring with him whatsoever. And then Shakur. They're bringing up as the next. I guess you could say Floyd Mayweather type of guy. But these guys. Keyshawn and Shakur. They're bringing them up as the next guys. Man, they talked about going up to 40. Fighting Teofimo. You've seen Keyshawn say he'll fight Teofimo at 140. I heard Shakur in previous interviews saying that he could go up to 47 today. So when I call out these guys, I don't know why they get so upset. They cry saying nobody's calling them out, but when someone calls them out, they get very, very emotional. So, I just want to fight the best guys, man. If they're saying that's the next guy up, then that's who you got to take out. That's the way I see it, at least.
You just signed this deal with Matchroom. When you talk to Eddie Hearn and the people at Matchroom, what do they tell you about your path to that kind of fight? What is it going to take to get there?
Man, I think exactly what I'm doing right now, knocking guys out and just kind of making my presence felt. I think to have a three-division world champion, react the way he did after that the press con well after the post-fight interview.
Hmm.
I think I'm definitely catching his attention, and if he's fighting a guy like Floyd Schofield, man, I think I shouldn't be too far off from getting a fight with him soon if he wants it.
Well, and look, I mean, say what you want about Floyd Schofield, but he talked his way into it, right? Like
Right.
he. I don't personally think he's ready for that kind of fight, based largely off his last performance. I think he has some things he's got to clean up before he's on that kind of level. But if you're engaging with these guys and pushing these guys, sometimes it can get you the result that you want. Maybe that gets you the fight sooner than later.
Right, no, most definitely, man. I feel like you got to be able to, you got to obviously, man, you got to have charisma, you got to have personality, but you got to be able to, get these guys to want to fight with you. You know what I'm saying? And, I know Shakur's pushing for a Javante fight. That fight's not going to happen. He obviously set up for Floyd Schofield. I don't see why a Tito Mercado versus Shakur Stevenson fight couldn't happen soon, in the future.
So what happens if you and Shakur get in the ring before the end of the year?
Man, I prove a lot of people wrong. A lot of people have him as like I said, man, next Floyd Mayweather. He's a great defensive fighter, definitely a lot of skills, but I think at 140, man, I just possess too much problems from him, man. I'm a big guy. I know how to fight off the back foot as well. I have a lot of speed. I could change up my combinations, different angles. I think I definitely, shocked the world that day and have him crying worse than he did with Robeisy Ramirez in the Olympics.
I did that interview in the Olympics too. That was me sitting there with him. Uh, does your team believe in that too? I mean, one thing about Floyd Schofield, he's had his father saying the exact same things that he's been saying for the last couple of years. When you talk to your team and your father and the people that are kind of working with you every single day, do they believe you're ready for that major fight?
Oh, of course, man. We wouldn't look. Obviously, I'm a fighter. I believe in myself, but we wouldn't go there, uh, trying to get fights that just make no sense either. You know what I'm saying? We believe we're the best. We train very, very hard, and we know that we could beat these guys like Shakur, Keyshawn, or guys in my weight too. Hitchison, Teofimo. We believe we could beat all these guys, and that's why we're pushing for it so badly. And we're backing it up. I'm talking a lot, man, but I'm backing everything up that I'm saying.
Yeah, and backing up with knockouts, and that's a big part of landing these big fights. As far as your next test, like what are you looking for? If it's not going to be a Floyd or a Keyshawn or one of those guys, and let's be real, it's probably not. Like, but the next test, what kind of fighter are you looking for? Is there anyone in particular you're kind of targeting at this moment? What are you seeing?
Man, realistically, man, I want to get somebody within the top 10. Somebody like the winner of Honor Barbosa versus Jack Catterall. That definitely interests me, and I don't see that too far off. I think, especially if Jack Catterall pulls off the win, I think that could be something that could be made. I know they said this is for a title eliminator, but they've been saying that for a lot of years for both those guys. So I think that could be a fight that could be made definitely within the next fight or two. I would really like a fight like that to definitely cement my name in the 140-pound division.
So I was going to ask you that next. This was obviously a contracted weight for a little above 140, but you're comfortable at that 140-pound limit for the foreseeable future.
Oh, for sure, man. With the whole, the November fight getting pushed back, I'm not gonna go there, push my body again to make 140 for no reason. And we wanted the best Pedraza. The last Pedraza that fought Keyshawn was at 135. He
Mhm.
hasn't fought there for I don't know how many years. So we wanted him to be strong, to give me good rounds. He gave me what he could, and that was that. But no, definitely, I'm comfortable at 140.
Now, I was trying to explain the story of the one guy that went the distance with you because we've seen all your knockouts and your early knockouts, and this was yet another one. But there's one guy out there that went the 10-round distance for you in Nicaragua. You told us in the fighter meeting, but tell us how the one guy that was out there went the distance with you.
Yeah, so the one guy, who lives to tell the tale still, he actually hails from South, I believe South Africa. But yeah, man, I fought him in Nicaragua. It was a great experience, but we didn't have a camp out there. Arrived a little bit too soon before the fight. I think we arrived 2 3 days before, and just the climate, man, it just really got to me after the first round or two, to the point where I was even asking what round we were, man, after every round, and I was in great shape, but. And there was a couple times, man, where I had him hurt. I was just too tired to finish him. I was like, I'm gonna just let this guy go away because I'm just too tired to finish him. I don't want to make a mistake, trying to go for a knockout if I'm just exhausted. And man, fortunately he was able to stick around and do the 10 rounds. But if you see his face, it was pretty busted up. But I definitely feel like we would have fought here. I definitely would have got an early knockout as well.
It's just funny looking at your box rec. You've got a whole bunch of third, fourth, fifth, even round knockouts, first round knockouts, good against good opponents. Hank Lundy went down in the first round. Uh, one guy out there with 10 and went the full 10 with you is pretty wild. Almost before they go, almost a perfect night for the Mercado family. Your uncle opening the show. Did you get a chance to watch that fight? And what did you think of the draw decision?
I was seeing I would say, parts from every bits of, of every other round. And I thought that my uncle, I mean, at least personally, I thought he won the fight. I didn't see the point deduction. I guess they gave him a point deduction, but I thought he did enough to win the fight. At least, I think the first scorecard was right, 76-74. I think that was a perfect scorecard. But I definitely thought he pulled off the fight. I think, the Leonardo Rukov, I don't think he did enough to press action. I think he just got outworked, man. And it's definitely a learning experience for him, man. I think they definitely gave him a gift.
Yeah, I'd love to see those two back in a rematch because Israel could have won an even cleaner decision. Like he was winning that first round before he got caught at the end
Right.
of it, and the deduction it was reasonable. There was a hard warning before, and there was another low blow there, so it wasn't the most egregious point deduction. I'd love to see you guys fighting again on the same show. It seemed like it worked for both of you. Both came out, and Israel. And I said this before he walked into the ring. Like he was a very live dog. He had one loss on his resume, and that was a with a majority decision to Beer Slarnov, who's a good fighter. So he was more than a live dog. Like, was it? How was it for you fighting on the same card as your uncle?
It was definitely exciting, man. And then, like you said, man, I'll definitely love to see my uncle again back at it. But this time with a full camp. This time I know this one was with a kind of late week notice, and I think with a full camp, I think he definitely does a lot better. But nah, man, it feels great, man. The last time I fought my uncle was wow, man, probably like 2016, 17, the amateurs together. So to be able to, get back in it together and have all the family out there, it was definitely exciting. And regardless of the outcome, everybody thought my uncle won, and then so we consider it two wins for the Mercado that night. So it was definitely fun.
I love it. I love it. Well, Tito, congratulations, man. You did a great job on Saturday night. Good to get a win. Good to get your first matchroom win. And now it's on to bigger and better things, man. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you.